Hello everyone, my name is Candace Gish and I am the founder of the Divas That Care. I am so excited. We're doing a special presentation today. I'm going to be interviewing my amazing friend Rosanna Pittella, and she's going to be sharing with all of you about her amazing book. And I'm so excited to be chatting with her again live for the first time. We've been doing podcasts together for years now, and it is my pleasure to be chatting with her. So I'm so glad to see you. So thank you so much for joining me today.
In the same room.
In the same room at the same time, which we've never done over all these years.
That's right.
So tell our listeners a little bit about yourself so we have a little bit of a background about you. And I would love to talk about your story after.
Sure. So as you know, but our audience may not know, I am a natural problem solver. And so my entire life's work has been dependent on that. And right now, looking at the way the world is, I think that it requires the magic of Madrika. So I'll give you background on the story, but I think it's the right time to unleash on the world a very positive female role model, young role model, that teaches people that as she is discovering her own inner magic and her journey and her destiny, that that's in fact what we each have to do. And I feel like that message is lost in the world. So that's why I'm here. My new problem to solve is a better way of life.
And I love that because, you know, that's what the Divas That Care has been all about. And you and I have talked about many different things over the years, and the collaboration and the empowerment of women and how we can share our stories and empower so many others. So tell me why you decided to write this, because I know that you've done so many things over the years. Why did you decide to become an author now?
Sure. Well, I have been an author, but I wrote much less interesting things like business books and ethics books and so on. I actually wrote this story as an oral history, an oral story, you know, like the ages ago, more than 30 years ago, over my shoulder, telling it to my 3 daughters, who at the time were enduring a very difficult period. My husband at the time was dying. He had terminal cancer, stage 4 cancer. And I was trying to find a way to uplift them. So I had this 1-hour commute each way every day with these 3 children in 3 separate schools. So I used that opportunity to tell them a story that I was making up as I went along, to make them distract from the negativity of life at the time. That was about a year of telling stories. So that's why I have 7 books. This is book 1, but I've got, 6 more of this epic story. And the idea was to give them this role model, to this lovely, beautiful young girl who discovers what her purpose and her destiny is in life, and that her inner magic was what was going to fuel her to be able to be successful. And not only that, but when she recognized the inner magic of everyone around her that had it, it multiplied, hers and theirs. And so that's why I wrote the story. That's why I made up the story. But why I published it is one of my daughters just had 6 years ago, had my first grandchild, Lucas, and she wanted the story. And of course, I had never written it down, but I do remember it. I mean, I remembered it. So I told her I would write it down. And then the way the universe works is marvelous. I got involved with, actually started a writer's workshop near where I lived. And the writers in that workshop, I was just doing a test, read of a first chapter before I sent it to my daughter. And they were like, nope, stop everything. We're going to help you publish this book. And that's how it happened. So I would never intended to publish it.
And there's so many amazing parts in that, the muffins and then the character names, which I really enjoyed because a lot of them, I have people in my life, I related a lot to the different characters within the book. And I found that very fascinating. So there's a lot of things that you're talking about within the book. And I want to know why you decided to address some issues and why that was really important to you.
Yeah, of course. So it's amazing. So feedback, like what I think is important about the book, it's kind of interesting, the feedback that we're getting. It's a children's book. That's what we wrote it for. But now it's become a book for children of all ages. So it's really remarkable to me. I just got feedback from a professor that I know, a mentor of mine, who has children and grandchildren of her own. And she was reading it to one of her grandchildren. And she said, I had to stop and say, whoa, wait a minute. It just reminded me I actually have a destiny that I haven't fulfilled yet. And I'm still on my journey. I'm not done, even though I'm retired. And so what we're seeing is that Madrika's magic inspires people of all ages to really think, what are you here for?
Yeah.
And how do you get there? And her message is, you're enough. Your inner magic is there specifically to fuel your destiny and your journey. And you will attract the people around you if you recognize that to get there. And I know that's a premise of Divas That Care, but I promise I didn't steal it. It was a long time ago. So that's a really important message, is that you're enough, you have a destiny. Imagine what the world would be like if everyone thought they had a specific destiny, right, and a journey, and they had people around them supporting them. I have a feeling that it would be a better world. I think a lot of the violence and a lot of things that happen are because people feel lost and unattached. And so Madrika is all about unity.
Yeah, she surrounded herself with amazing people.
Yeah. So that's kind of a phenomenon that's happening. And then younger people feel really attracted to this person that maybe they relate to as a young person, but with power. I mean, let's face it, generations before, I think we've kind of blew it. Stephen King said the baby boomers had a chance to change the world and they created Home Shopping Club, So I feel like each new generation has an opportunity to make the world a better place.
Yeah.
I would really like Madrika to be in the mix as an inspiring, maybe philosophical change, right?
Yeah.
So we will see.
And you designed this book for what age groups?
Well, the kids in the back seat were grade school, middle school and high school.
But it's for everybody.
Well, that's what I'm finding. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Maybe I was writing it for myself. I'm not really sure. I needed comfort too. I'm not sure. But it seems like we get a lot of questions, like, so what's going to happen next? Will Madrika find her mother? Will Lucas find his mother? Like a lot of questions. So we can't just end it there.
Yeah.
So
you're planning a second book, aren't you?
Second book is already, it was written a long time ago, right? But it'll be written down on paper in February. And we plan to publish it this year. So we'll have another one out in 2024. Yeah, it's exciting.
Which is perfect because it leaves it on a part that you want to hear more. So
yeah.
I want to know about the inner circle. What is that, and why is that important for not just the story, but for everybody?
Well, it's interesting. So at the workshop that we were doing with the writers, one of the writers asked, well, I think the book is going to attract people that want to communicate with other people that have read the book. So are you going to create some sort of portal? Are you going to create something where people can talk to each other? And then actually my daughter, Jessica, who is our marketing manager, who is a trained human services professional, was like, more than that. Not just talk about the book, but talk about the things that relate to their destiny, their journey, where they are in their life.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of conversations about that, and we were thinking, how can we back that? How can we have a way for anybody reading the book globally, because I would like it to be everywhere, how can they connect, right? Because it's all about connection, right? So then, of course, my first thought was Divas That Care, because that network has always symbolized to me a whole massive group of women that their whole thing is to do good in the world, right? I know they're business women and they're very profitable and they do all of that, but really they have this mission of doing good too, right? And so I thought, what a perfect thing. Let's have the inner circle backed by the Divas That Care. And as communications come in from people who need support, who need somebody to talk to, who need guidance at any age, we would be able to provide them with some support through the network. So it's a perfect meshing of those two organizations. Yeah.
And we always said we were going to be doing more collaborations together.
Yeah, it's because our path has converged.
It has.
For sure.
Gosh, I love this. Thank you so much.
Of course.
It is always a pleasure to chat with you, and I'm looking forward to all the things that you're going to be doing in the future, and I'm looking forward to being a part of this. So thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Of course.